Welcome to the Virtual Cheese Awards 2024, celebrating the best of British cheese. My name is Vicky Rogerson and I'll be moderating this session, which is C1 Blue Stilton. And joining us today is two amazing judges, Nikki Filt from Harvey and Brockcliffe and Paul Heisman from Rowcliffe's. So Nikki, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Nikki from H&B. I'm the purchasing director. Lucky enough to work with lots of amazing cheesemakers all over the place. Looking forward to tasting some amazing cheese today.
Thank you. And Paul? And Paul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Paul Heisman, Rowcliffe. I look after our supply base, product sourcing, purchasing, and really happy to be here spending the morning tasting amazing cheeses.
Brilliant, thanks Paul. So we'll go straight on to our first Blue Stilton, which is 1037.
Well, it's a nice big piece of Stilton, isn't it, Paul?
It is, yeah.
Looks really lovely.
I like that.
Looks quite creamy. Good bluing. Perhaps a little bit less towards the bottom, but overall bluing all over the place.
Mine's got a lovely distribution of blue on that side, a bit less on that side, but no.
Rind looks
really
nice, looks interesting, doesn't it? I think it looks like a really nice piece of cheese. I think.
Yeah.
Probably thinking sort of definitely a solid 8, I'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the ride's nice and dry, it's not sticky.
Yeah, let's go with a solid 8.
Then appearance.
So aroma. You got that nice sort of musty sort of blue cheese. Yeah. It almost takes you back to the maturing rooms, doesn't it? Where the action all happens.
If you wanted to imagine how a Stilton smelled, this is a good example.
Yeah, I think it smells really. Looking forward to tasting this. It smells sort of almost buttery, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can smell it, but it's not overpowering. It's
nice and creamy. So, what do you think for aroma?
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking for aroma?
I'm thinking 8 again.
Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah.
So texture. Let me take that one.
Very creamy, cutting through it.
Yeah, it does feel creamy, doesn't it? It looks like a nice wedge of Stilton.
Yeah.
Quite close knit, soft, smooth. Paste feels really smooth in the hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is very buttery texture.
And it's sort of melt in the mouth texture, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the texture's bang on. There's no curd. It's
very much
perfectly mature all the way through. I think the texture's probably better. I'd probably say closer to an 8.5, a 9 on texture.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the texture's really, really good. I'd say it's buttery, creamy, breaks down well, not sticky. It just melts, literally melts in the mouth. Yeah.
Flavour. There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Creamy, but quite a nice, quite a high level of piquancy to it, but it's not overly punchy or astringent.
Yeah, there's a good complexity, isn't there, of flavour? It is quite strong on the blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that could do with balancing out a little bit more.
I think it's the sort of top end of blue that you want more than that. I'd say it's not really astringent or anything, but it's more than enough. You just still get the sweetness coming through from the paste, but nice.
I think that probably lets it down a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. And the longer it lingers on your palate, then the more intense it gets. But
there is a nice complexity of flavour to it, though, I would say that.
Yeah,
I think it's probably still an 8. I think it's a solid piece of cheese, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
salt's good, nice level of salt coming through on it. They're not too heavy. Yeah, you're gonna
What do you
Takes
think?
me to-
An 8 on flavour then?
Yeah. I think just because the blue needs to pull back a little bit, but
Yeah.
um,
Other than that, all
lovely
very
piece of
nice.
cheese. Texture is just beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the texture is stunning.
Next one is 1087.
Yeah, there in a minute. Got yours out, Paul. How's it looking?
Yeah, so it's got a good level of blue, although it sort of tends to be a bit clumped, really.
It's quite wet.
Yeah, it's quite a wet rind, sticky rind, and there's quite a big
Whole
gap
thing
between
seems
the
quite
way the
wet
blue stops.
and feels quite wet.
Yeah, no, mine is too.
Good
I don't know
even
how
with
yours is.
coverage. It's quite green, as a quite more greeny mine is than blue.
Mine's a lot of green, and it's had plenty of time to breathe. Mine's been unwrapped for. I did unwrap the blues quite early, and mine's been unwrapped for probably close to a couple of hours now, and it's still a lot of the mold is still very green, which I think is a bit off-putting, really. I think
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
don't
you're
think that's
the
quite
same,
right.
but
So I think, yeah, I
quite a
agree.
large gap without any blue. Got a quite a large area here that hasn't
I've got
no
the
blue.
bit where they've
Quite a gap.
graded.
Okay, yeah.
I've got the
Yeah.
the core. So I think if we mark it, so what do you want to say? 7, 7.5, somewhere around there?
Yeah,
7?
7. Actually. I think because of the greenness, it's sort of
Yeah.
going a bit less away from Stilton and a bit more Danish blue in terms of
Yeah.
the colour of the mold.
Aroma.
Yeah. Not a great deal going on.
Definitely smell the blue,
Nice,
can't you?
mustiness to it. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
really
there's a lot of
getting
mustiness coming off there.
yeah, which is the dominating aroma, really. I'm not really getting any blue
There's a
coming
little bit of
through.
blue, but it's not full on. You can't smell that sort of
Yeah.
sweetness, can you?
No.
So aroma, so 7
6.
or 6. Want to go lower? Should we go 6.5?
Well, I suspect your piece might be a bit better than mine, perhaps, because I've got sort of again not a great deal, but I think I've
Go
got probably
6.5 then in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah. And I
Um,
think looking at your piece, I think I've got probably a bit more green mold on this one than
yeah, texture
Yeah,
wise, I mean, look, it's breaking apart as we've cut it. Quite fractured.
yeah.
So that what it's going to be like if it's.
No, I'm sort of just left with a board of crumbs, really.
It's actually quite creamy on the taste.
Yeah.
And smoother than perhaps it would appear when you cut it. It actually feels like it's a bit of a higher fat. It does feel quite fatty.
Actually, the mouthfeel isn't actually very creamy, but it breaks down nicely. So yeah, 5.5.
Yeah, I think the blue is quite separate, isn't it? It feels like two parts of a story. You've got a creaminess and you've got the blue, I mean, which is it amazingly tastes so different to the first one, doesn't it? It just doesn't taste like a rounded product. Are you there, Paul?
No.
What to check?
Yeah. But again, when you break it down, the bluing in mine is predominantly green, dark green, really, going grey. It's not a bright sort of any bright blueness to it, really. And the flavour's a bit strange in some ways. It's a
there's quite a lot going on with it, isn't there? It does taste very fatty by comparison to the others, to the one we tried before. Okay, so what are you thinking? Sort of 6, 6.5, somewhere like that for flavour?
6, yeah.
I don't think it's as
Yeah.
balanced as the one we tasted
No,
before.
it's not. No, but I just get a very sort of floral, acidic sort of back notes to the flavour.
Yeah.
What's your texture,
Yeah,
texture score?
The texture actually, I don't think was that bad in the end. I think the texture was probably a 7.
And
Okay,
then
yeah,
your taste was flavour was
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it did melt in the mouth.
It tastes quite high fat.
Yeah, but I'm just spending
Leaves like a fatty taste in the mouth, doesn't it?
Well, I'm just spending a lot of time clearing crumbs up from my.
Clearing it up.
Yeah.
The aftermath.
Next one is 1144.
Okay.
No.
So,
So this looks like a much more even kind of blue, doesn't it?
yeah, mine's got
All over,
very,
looks pretty,
very even distribution of
pretty even all the way through. It looks really quite nice. I mean, quite heavy on the blue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Blue going right to the edge.
yeah,
The rind is, there's a lot less rind to it, isn't there?
yeah. The rind on mine's quite dry.
Yeah, likewise. You can smell that ammonia, maturing aroma from the rind very clearly. So appearance, I think it actually looks quite nice.
Yeah, I'd go like it's a solid 8 for appearance.
Yeah. Aroma, there's a bit going on, isn't there? I mean,
it's predominantly the rind that's coming through. The taste of the
yeah, so I think aroma, I think aroma is probably middle of the road, would you say? 7?
Yes, yeah. But even when you take a piece off the end and smell it, it doesn't really massively increase the aroma.
Breaks up quite a bit. Texture
Very
felt
firm
quite
texture.
heavy on the way through.
Quite a heavy texture, isn't it?
Very heavy.
Almost verging on being a bit sort of doughy.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a heavy paste. I'd say that's probably a 7, 7.5, wouldn't you?
I think it's very dense. Yeah, 7.
Flavour-wise, I think this was better than the last one, wasn't it? But it's quite mouldy, isn't it? You're getting quite a lot of that blue mould. You really can taste. Not that kind of balance between creaminess and blue.
Yeah, I think it's, from that aspect, it's good actually. I think the blue comes through well. It's a nice flavour to the blue. It's not too heavy. It's not so astringent. It's nice intensity, I think.
It's quite one-dimensional though, isn't it? It's quite like one thing going on, not a lot of stuff going on. I think the first one had a lot more going on.
Yeah, it was much more complex. Yeah, no, but all I'm really getting is the blue and some sweetness, but it's balanced. It's not harsh.
So what, have we marked texture or not, Vicky?
Texture was 7.
Oh, we have done that. Okay, so we're on flavour. I think this is kind of middle of the road, don't you? So I think 7 again would be appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's delivering flavour, but it sits. There's not a long flavour. It disappears quite quickly. Yeah, I think for me the main thing with this piece is the texture. Really, it was a bit surprising at how dense the texture was on it.
Yeah.
The last one is 1145.
A bit of a clean up. Final cheese.
Wonderful.
Sorry, I've not broken in yet.
That's the best.
Nearly there.
Okay. The YP has got a nice distribution of blue again. Varies a little bit from one side to the other, but
Yeah. Blue right
Green.
across all the way to the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a nice,
ride's nice.
quite a
and
nice
dry.
covering. Rind's pretty similar to the last one. Have you got a big
Yeah.
crack there in yours?
I think, yeah, there is. I think it's where the blue is, and I think I've just lent on it really. So
Oh,
I think,
okay.
I think it was more me than the cheese, if I'm honest. Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
looks quite nice. I think
Yeah,
it's
I do
got a
too.
bit more
Yeah.
of a balance of
Yeah.
creaminess and blue.
Yeah.
So
I like the balance in mine. I like the colour of the rind and the fact that it's
quite
strong and
glistening,
sticky.
isn't it? There's quite a lot of
Mm.
moisture to this. I'd say 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Aroma, pure ammonia.
Mm.
It's interesting. It smells different in different places.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get one bit that's really, really strong on the ammonia, and then other bits less so.
Mm. I get a little bit coming off the rind on mine, but the paste
I'm probably
itself.
getting more off the main frame of the cheese, which is
Okay.
strange. I don't know. What would you think on?
I think on mine again. It's middle of the road on Roma. I think it's a 7.5. It's just all
Three.
I'm really getting the sellers from the rind.
I'm getting a bit more ammonia off the top, but which could
Mm.
theoretically be the bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you, 7. I think it's middle of the road
Yeah.
on appearance. So I guess I can take the front off this time. So texture, well, it's quite creamy.
But mine's quite firm. So yeah, mine's sort of firm and then fractured quite a bit.
Yeah, it's fractured a little, but it is quite creamy, this. So it is coming back together quite nicely.
Not as firm as the last one.
No, it's not heavy like the last one.
No. That's a nice
It's
mouthful.
much more lighter, much creamier.
Yeah.
I think the texture on this is pretty good. I think it's a definitely an 8 on texture.
Yeah. Yeah, the mouth feels lovely on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely an 8. Yeah, it's good. Mm.
It's got quite a nice flavour as well, hasn't it? It's quite a lot going on. That's a really nice piece of cheese.
It's creamy, sweet, and again the blue. For me, the blue's nicely balanced as well. It's not too strong, not too piquant.
Agree, it's part of the package, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're getting a bit of everything with it.
I think it's a really well balanced cheese, actually. Yeah. Because I'm not left with any one component really overshadowing or standing out. It's just really nice balance and mix of everything that's going on. And the texture again is good. It fills your mouth. It's creamy, but it melts away.
I think this is like a higher end. I think, I don't know, 8.5 perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would agree with 8.5. Yeah, yeah. When the after flavours,
We'll go back and taste it
creaminess,
against one.
sweetness, and blue.
I think it's really, that's quite a nice piece of cheese.
I agree. Yeah. That's quite a moreish piece of Stilton, actually. And
Yeah.
again, salt's nice as well. The salt comes through, but it's really, it just adds balance.
I'm wondering how it compares back to 1. I'm just going to try 1 again and see what the difference is between the two, actually.
It is between that number 1 and number 4.
Okay.
There's like
I think number one's got the edge on.
point of that. They're very close, those two.
For me, one still has the edge, really. I think just with it's got a slightly more complex flavour.
Quite close, isn't it? They're quite different.
Yeah, I think that's
They're quite different cheeses, but
they are different.
both really good pieces of cheese. I agree with you, one.
Yeah, I think it's
probably
just
one wins over because it's got a better balance between the creaminess and the blue, hasn't it? Which I guess you probably can see by there's a difference in the, I guess in the bluing, isn't there, a bit alongside each other? You've got a bit more balance out on this one, haven't you?
I think that with one, there's more length.
I think they're both really good pieces of cheese, though.
I do. Yeah, I agree. I think it's it's between the two, but it's a close call. They're different, but they're both really, really good in their own right.
Okay.
Which, you know, is nice in the industry to have that, isn't it? Just, you know, amazing cheeses that are not all as tasting the same as each other.
Yeah.
No, very good.
Good. Yes, that's the end of that class. So the winning cheese was 1037 with 36.5, followed quite closely with 1145, which is 35.25. And then third was 1144 on 32.5. So thank you very much for all of your judging and your comments on that class. So to find out the winners of this class, we'll go into the category final, which is on the 14th of May, which will be live on our socials. And then the next day on the 15th of May will be the Supreme Championship judging and also the winners announcement. So please come and tune in then. But thanks very much for your time, judges, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.